An explanation of why the SpaceX orbital tank farm is broken. SpaceX's orbital tanks are being made from high melting point aluminum. Unfortunately, as a result of being in an orbit around the Earth, their temperature swings enormously. When the heat from the sun warms them up in the morning and night, this heats them to the point where they quickly lose their strength. This is called creep. Creep, combined with the normal thermal expansion of the tanks, caused the tank farm to fall over and buckle. It looks like it is still in there, but obviously it won't stand up to much damage. I am an aerospace engineer who is retired from a position as a project engineer in the aerospace industry. I am well-rounded, having been involved in many aspects of design, procurement, manufacturing and testing, among others. I am currently an adjunct professor at a local community college. Previously I taught aerospace engineering at another college in another state, and taught a course in project management at a local business college. As a professional engineer, I have been involved in a number of aerospace projects related to launch vehicles, manned orbital aircraft and satellites. I also have been a consultant to the US government on a number of technical matters. I consider myself a reasonably qualified and experienced observer and contributor to aerospace and technical forums, so I take pride in expressing my opinions on these subjects. On Thursday, February 10, 2007, 7:15 and 30 seconds p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you stated, SpaceX's orbital tanks are being made from high melting point aluminum. Unfortunately, as a result of being in an orbit around the Earth, their temperature swings enormously. When the heat from the sun warms them up in the morning and night, this heats them to the point where they quickly lose their strength. This is called creep. Creep, combined with the normal thermal expansion of the tanks, caused the tank farm to fall over and buckle. It looks like it is still in there, but obviously it won't stand up to much damage. I read over your post 3 times thinking carefully before putting down my response. I believe that you must have missed the sentence that follows the one above. The tanks are just a few kilometers away from the ground. If there is a temperature difference at that distance, that would be 1 km, 5 miles, 1,000 feet. That is a relatively small temperature change. And, even if this did heat them up significantly, it would take hours to cool off. The tanks themselves are only about 10 inches thick. They actually are made up of thin sheets of aluminum, which are then sandwiched around a carbon steel frame, then covered up with a polyethylene membrane. So, no, heat is not an issue. If the tanks were sitting on the ground in a desert heat wave, that would be another story. But, in any case, the heat would only reach temperatures in the range of 300 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's a little bit of physics for you. Aluminum has the following properties. Melting point, boiling point, free energy at 298 K, 660 K, 660 K, 660 kJ, kilogram free energy at 298 K, 660 K, 660 K, 660 kJ, kilogram free energy at 298 K, 660 K, 660 K, 660 kJ, kilogram thermal conductivity, 2.6 W, mK. Heat capacity at 298 K, 4.186 J-G. Dissipation factor at 298 K, 0.001 heat conductivity, 0.6 W, mK. The specific heat capacity of aluminum was measured as 730 J-G degrees C. In the context of spacecraft, a temperature drop from 300 Kelvin to room temperature would be about 1 K, 1.8 degrees. This is very small. Heat conduction is a transfer of energy. Heat conduction is a process that is not instantaneous, and is affected by particles in a matter's microstructure and surroundings. Heat conduction can be approximated by the transfer of energy per unit area. In a fluid, such as liquid water, the transfer of energy per unit area can be approximated by the diffusion equation, 1. The diffusion equation describes the transfer of energy due to thermal motion in a fluid, which is called heat diffusion. The diffusion equation for heat conduction in a fluid may be written V equals kT, where V equals coefficient of thermal transfer per unit width, K equals thermal conductivity, heat unit cross-sectional area, and T equals temperature gradient or difference in the temperature along the cross-sectional area. For liquids in which diffusion approximations can be made, this equation is also the equation for the velocity of fluid due to diffusion, so is also called the diffusion equation. I hope everything is straight, as it is a bit complicated. The above data for aluminum are